kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
People say lightning doesn't strike twice, or think it won't strike them. For some, that may be true. Yet still we all jump when the thunder claps.
Contact, there he goes. Thomas Aaron wins the ATX Grand Prix. It is going to be Ryan Truex. Seth Gadjadoris wins here at Talladega. Coming back, there was the pass. Oh, big contact between Reed Foley and Tyler Truex. And Mark McCrary wins here at Rockingham, clinches himself into the round of 12.
Oh no, this isn't a game. This is ThunderClap. And the thunder strikes now.
It was an intense start to the playoffs here for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series last week at Rockingham. Here we're going to spread it out and we're really going to separate the competition as race number 2 for the round of 16 heads to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin and Road America. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, as always, my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. Tony, this is going to be a racetrack where you are going to separate these playoff contenders. Some guys are going to have a really bad day and are really going to need to focus when they go to Indianapolis next week for the cutoff race. Other guys may have a waltz into round number 2.
You're absolutely correct, Frank. And, you know, this track has been notorious throughout the years that it's been around for hitting you with so many rights. You're pretty much begging for a left at some point. But the lefts that this track does have are some of the most difficult lefts you're ever going to experience, especially between turns 4 and the carousel.
Absolutely. There are going to be cars all over the place here tonight. We're going to have a lot of offs, but with that, we also have a rather short race, and we have the 2 stages to bring the field back together. Stage breaks will be rather close to each other at 10 and 20 here tonight with the 35-lap race. As we'll take a look at the overall point standings coming into this race, Mark McCrary, by virtue of his win last week at Rockingham, as you saw in the opening video, has the points lead also locked into the playoffs, or the second round of the playoffs. One of the guys that was big that did not show up here last week and is not here again this week has a playoff provisional, so he will not get penalized, is Ryan Truex. Right now on the outside looking in is that number 56.
He is, and, you know, we talk about it all the time. Those guys that are running for the championship, if you take a look at the drivers that are sitting atop the pile right now, they are the ones who have shown up every week. They've been here week in, week out, not missing a race, not having anything crazy happen as far as connections go. And, you know, it really shows that consistency wins championships.
Absolutely. And we do have 3 playoff contenders that have received a playoff provisional and will not be here tonight. Ryan Truex being one of them. Roger DeBold is another. And one guy who really has put himself on the back foot going into Indianapolis next week, Dustin Stallings, had a bad run from the word go last week at Rockingham. He is going to miss today's race.
Missing today's race and sitting dead last in the playoff contenders spot of 16th. He is currently pretty far back. 42 points out of contention right now. is Mark McCrary leading that championship. Right now, the cutoff to 12, that's Greg McConey sitting on the inside. Cole Gadjadoris and Ryan Truex both only 2 points back, but you did mention that Ryan not going to be here tonight.
Yeah, but we do have 25 drivers who are going to be set to take the grid here tonight, as we have a minute left in this practice session, and we'll show you around this racetrack for a little bit. J.D. Woodward coming up to the line. We'll jump on board with him as a narrow front straightaway, very, very long, into a tight right-hander in turn one.
And the other thing you got to be careful of on that front stretch is when you do crest the hill just past the start-finish line, it's very easy to unload the car right there, and it gets so incredibly light on the steering that if you don't have that car pointed in a straight line, chances are you're going to be chasing it till the time you get into turn one.
Absolutely. And you'll notice all throughout the race here today, there are what we call skill pockets. These are guys that have about the same or different skill level, as this is going to be one of the biggest, most important braking zones to get into. Very fast, off a long straightaway, downhill, extremely tight. As we jump now to the qualifying session here, times will get wiped out. Daniel Silvestri, fastest of all in the practice session, and we will now jump to our 10-minute qualifying session here. And with the way this track is and how long this track is, if you want to get a qualifying lap in, you're going to have to do it pretty much from the off.
You are at that. I mean, you're going to have to give yourself the best shot that you can. 2 laps to get it done. And the last thing you want to do is get caught out not completing a lap. You at least want to try to lay one down. As Formosa, McConey, Waltman, James Sharik, and Robert Walton are all out on track right now that I can see. Alan Marshall, Steve Luchinsky, Chase Leahy, Ryan Zunt, Cole Gadjadoris, Tyler Chalk, Nikolai Jardin,
pretty much
Justin Clapper, and Anthony Burleson all out on track.
Everyone except Tommy Allen Jr., Tyler Truex, Daniel Silvestri, J.D. Woodward, Seth Gadjadoris, and Matt Garrett have all jumped onto the racetrack. So all but about 6 have started. You're going to need about 7.5 minutes to do your qualifying if you want to, one, get both laps in, as there is Chase Leahy going off at downhill. That's going to be one of the big corners of emphasis here tonight. A little bit further ahead, there is Jake Waltman in the 06. Got some sponsorship on that machine finally this season.
Good to see.
After an interesting dust-up last week that has resulted in a 1-race suspension and a remainder of the season probation stint for one Bo Condon. The incident that they had in turn 1 last week at Rockingham, garnering a 1-race suspension for the 25. And penalties after last week will also result in 3 drivers starting from pit road. Justin Clapper, Chuck Shambly, who is not here, and Jake Waltman will also be starting from pit road in this race tonight after Rockingham's misfortunes.
Yeah, they are, and that's going to make things incredibly difficult for these guys, especially during the first stint or the first segment of this race, because they're not allowed to be released until the field passes the end of pit road. Well, that didn't go as planned for Waltman.
Yes, it just went around as we see Scott Formosa on track. Not the furthest one along, but he's one of the further drivers along on qualifying time. Formosa able to pull off a 3rd place finish last week as mayhem on the final lap shuffled up the finishing order quite a bit at Rockingham last week.
That was absolutely a wild final lap for that race.
Certainly was, and you just saw saw a couple clips of it in the Open, which was produced by Bo Condon, as he's done all season long. Formosa heading into downhill just before the carousel. Long sweeping right-hander. Goes through elevation change, goes through camber change. It's quite a difficult corner. And a corner you really have to be patient with.
Another one you gotta be patient with is the kink that he's coming up on after that carousel. that corner catches so many drivers out. It's a double apex right, and it's so easy to get it wrong.
Oh, that's Canada corner. Well, that was going so well for him too, as we see Robert Walton. And if you're wondering why, well, if they're starting from pit road, here's Justin Clapper headed through the final corner. Why are these guys, if they have to start from pit road, why are they qualifying? Well, their pit box is located where they qualify. So if you qualify 24th, you're going to have the 24th pit box by the time you're actually able to be released, and you have to go 45 miles an hour all the way down that long pit road. So it does behoove you to actually put a qualifying time down.
Speaking of qualifying times, James Sharik sitting on top of the pile currently. Ryan Zunk not that far behind, only about 17 one-hundredths of a second behind him. Anthony Burleson, now Tyler Chalk up into third. Time starting to come in hot and heavy.
There's
not a big shocker there.
Yeah, no. Thomas Aaron, he was the fastest in practice for a majority of the session. It's at a 2:14.50 on that first lap. Mark McCrary, winner last week, a second and a half off. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. But you were talking about little pockets that are going on. You know, James Sharik, Ryan Zunk, Tyler Chalk, throw a blanket over those guys, as less than a second separates third through fifth right now. Anthony Burleson not that far in front of Steven Sharik for sixth and seventh. So, you know, you mentioned it earlier, Frank, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. Is there's pockets that we're going to be seeing tonight, and we're going to see some good racing for different positions.
Daniel Silvestri crossing the line.
Ryan Truex just showed up.
Yep, Ryan Truex is here. I did notice that, as here is that number 56. I can't think he's had too much practice time, as we see Chase Leahy about to finish up his qualifying effort. Leahy was not able to put a valid lap time down on his first attempt.
Same goes for Daniel Silvestri, Greg McConey, and Scott Formosa, as Greg Vial does the exact same thing. And it is so easy to get it wrong here at Road Atlanta. All you have to do is just dip two tires in the wrong spot, and you're screwed.
The one lap he put down, though, Chase Leahy, a very good one, up to fourth. As we see Thomas Aaron. Personal best in Sector 1, personal best in Sector 5.
But negated Sectors 2, 3, and 4.
Well, no, it may not have been negated. It may have just been slower than his previous lap. See what he does here, 2:14.67, so still fast, but not his fastest. Mark McCrary, purple in the final sector, Sector 6. Slower, though, overall. Here is Silvestri coming out of Canada corner now. And we'll see what Silvestri is going to be able to do. Just about a minute and a half left here in this qualifying session. And
Ryan Truex is going to have to hustle it if he's going to want to post a time.
Now, unlike what we see in, say, Formula One, Silvestri to the top, a 2:14.09 for the McDonald's number 97. Very good lap for him.
That was a ripper of a lap. That was an absolute ripper. He was purple through most of it.
Here's Greg McConey in the Paw Patrol number 12.
What?
Is that Paw Patrol or Bluey?
Bluey.
Oh, it's Bluey. No, you're right. McConey 14th quickest. Oh, yeah, that is Bluey. Never mind. Probably could have told by the color of the paint scheme, dummy.
My month isn't special.
No, I meant me. As Formosa crosses the line, he'll go 7th. See, do we get? Yes, we get it. All right. So there's Vince Burns. Greg Vielle done with both laps. Both laps invalidated. Ryan Truex is really the last one that has an opportunity to set a time here.
He's going to have to hustle it because he's only coming into Canada corner right now.
20
and
seconds left.
20 seconds left. I don't think he's going to make it.
I don't think so either. Vince Burns is on his first lap. He's certainly not going to make it. A little left-handed uphill blind kink here. And yeah, he's not going to make it. So Ryan Truex will not set a time after coming in late. So as we jump into the warm-up session, we will now send it off, as we always do, to Terry Adams for our national anthem. Thank you very much, as always, to Terry Adams for that national anthem that we play here for you guys every single week. We also have another major announcement, as a series is coming back home to ESBN. And right now we would like to announce which series will be returning starting on the 25th of August. We are absolutely beyond excited to be welcoming back Sim Racer's Edge. After stepping away for a season, they have decided to return with us here at ESBN. That season will start Thursday, the 25th of August, and it will start, Tony, where it all began, Auto Club Speedway, and the incredible race and the stunning finish that we saw there for Season 1, Race 1.
Yeah, it actually made iRacing highlight of the month, being as they had to go out to the 5th decimal place to figure out who won that event.
It was an absolutely unforgettable night and a one hell of a way to open up a series. And for them to be returning, we are more than excited. The whole schedule will be posted soon on YouTube, so you can catch the day and the time for all of the races. It's oval favored, but there are some incredible road courses that will be run over the course of that season that, again, starts on the 25th. So right now we will take a look at the grid here for tonight's race, and starting on pole with a time of 2 minutes 14 seconds, .085, Daniel Silvestri tops Thomas Aaron by a little bit under a half a second to take pole here tonight. James Sharik and Mark McCrary will make up row 2. Ryan Zunk and Chase Leahy in row 3. Row 4 goes to Scott Formosa and Tyler Chalk. Anthony Burleson and J.D. Woodward will round out the top 10 in row number 5. Row 6 goes to Stephen Sharik and Alan Marshall, with row 7 going to Stephen Lischinski and Justin Clapper, who again will start from pit road.
Yes, Justin Clapper and Tyler Chalk both given EOL penalties, as McConey and Robert Walton are going to roll off in row number 8. Row 9 is going to see Nikolai Jardin and Tyler Truax, Tommy Allen Jr. and Ryan Truax making up row number 10. Seth Gadjadoris, Matt Garrett going to roll off in row 11, with row 12 going to Vince Burns and Greg Vial. Jake Waltman and Cole Gadjadoris back in row number 13. But again, Nikolai Jardin, Justin Clapper, Tommy Allen, and Tyler Chalk all receiving EOL penalties.
As Tyler Truax, you see him breaking off there, electing to start from pit road. Cole Gadjadoris, also Daniel Silvestri, electing to start from the pit lane here tonight, as we see a big wad up back there as guys try to... Oh, that's a lot of damage. Ryan Truex has run into somebody. So has the 3.
Oh, wow.
Guys trying to just get off the line, take their EOL. And Ryan Truex is going to start this race with quite a hefty amount of damage on that number 56. Here's what happened with Truex.
Okay, Clapper was trying to get out of the way. Robert Walton got run over by Truax, both the Truaxes.
Oh yeah, Clapper just stopped in the... There's not a lot of room width-wise.
Right.
Here at this road course on the front straightaway.
So Garrett ran into Ryan, who ran into Tyler, and they all ran into the back of Justin Clapper.
Yeah, watch the 63. There's Clapper rolling off. Has the EOL, so he stops. So does Walton. And then it just accordions from there.
That just made a long night even longer.
It's certainly an interesting way to start your evening at what is expected to be a very, very long one at that. Again, just 35 laps. But when each of these laps takes about 2.5 minutes to complete, plus I would say about 4 minutes for a pace lap, it certainly makes quite the evening, as Thomas Aaron will be the one now to lead these guys off to begin this race, Tony, with Silvestri, I'm sure, not wanting to get run over going into turn 1, starting from the pit lane.
You are correct, as they're working their way on just under the Corvette Bridge into Corvette Corner right now, which leads into the 789 complex.
Oh, they're well beyond that. This is...
Right. No, I was watching them come up the hill. I'm sorry I was not live. But now they're coming into that dreaded kink portion, and it is so easy to get this wrong leading into Canada Corner, as the lights are out on the pace car. And Frank, we're getting ready to turn them loose for 35 laps with only 4 sets of tires to get it done. They're being quite generous with tires tonight, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're only going to need to come into pit at the stage breaks and maybe once during the final stage. So it's not going to be too hectic, I don't feel, down pit road, Tony, as we head towards the final corner, getting ready to start this race.
You are correct. As the pace car starts to pick up a little bit of pace, Aaron keeping pace with it as the field comes out of the final corner. Pace car gets ready to peel on off. The only thing left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn and some cheese curd, because it's time to get it on in the great state of Wisconsin. Race fans, it's show time.
Green flag is out as the long run down into turn number 1 begins. Again, very, very tight going into this first corner. Everyone looks as though they've made it through okay.
So far, so good.
Down the hill into turn 3. The next matter before we get down this long back straightaway.
And as Ryan Zunk getting a good run on that initial start, is bringing Mark McCrary with him, as Sharik was a little bit asleep at the switch, got caught up on that outside through 1 and 2. Into the downhill for turn 5 they come, as McCrary goes way offline to try to stay off of Zunk. That's going to open the door. Sharik's around.
Yep, James Sharik, too much power too early. And that 37 goes around in turn 5.
And there's nothing he can do about it as the field files past.
Just wait and watch.
Oh, boy.
Tyler Truex on his way to the downhill, already missing the back end of that Taco Bell number 69 machine. Nikolai Jardone, I think, has had it off. Yep, there goes Jardone, straight on in downhill. We'll take a look at all of these when we get a second. Daniel Silvestri, I think, has also had a little bit of an off. There's some right rear damage on his car. Chase Leahy, I'm seeing, well, may have just clipped the grass a little bit. But right now it is a 1.5 second lead for Thomas Aaron as we get set to complete lap number 1.
As you see, McCrary starting to reel in Ryan Zunk for second. They've got almost 2 full seconds to the good over 4th place, Scott Formosa. The field, for the most part, getting single-filed out quickly. Everybody kind of trying to find their niche and just hide right now and stay out of trouble as Ryan Truex and Greg McConey go after each other across the start-finish line.
There's Greg Vial up the hill, just made a pass on the 3 of Matt Garrett. Tyler Chalk trying to file his way through in the 31 Tax Slayer machine. Steven Leszczynski, Ryan Truex coming out of turn 1. Greg McConey right there as well into the downhill turn 3. And if you're wondering where the heck turn 2 is, it's that little kink right under the that little gantry there. That is technically turn 2. Stupid,
I'm looking
I know,
at Ryan.
but
I'm looking at Ryan Truex's car as he comes into the downhill that leads to turn 5, and that car is a mess.
a lot of
I guarantee you that car is not handling the way he wants it to right now, with all the damage to the splitter up there, and the back bumper not looking too healthy either. that car's aero package is heavily compromised.
And also, you got to think he has just very little practice here. I'm sure he's drawing off of real world experiences right now, but not a lot of practice here as we see the 83 of Steven Sharik head on through. Chase Leahy behind him. Looking back, Tyler Truex off out of the carousel.
Very easy to do there. It's so easy to dip a wheel coming out of the carousel, and it really hurts your line through the kink where they're coming now, leading down into Canada corner. Truex is struggling. One Truex is struggling. The other one is making some headway. As Tyler only +5. Ryan, though, is +11.
Steven Sharik has had an off at Canada corner. Now we'll start as Scott Formosa. You're going to see the field here start to mix up here as the overlay is catching up with what lap we are actually on here. So once Nikolai Jardone, who's currently being scored in 6th, once he crosses the start-finish line, we will be back on the proper lap, or at least the proper lap that's being displayed. And Thomas Aaron will resume the race lead, at least as far as the overlay is concerned.
It's like Steven Shriek had a big moment.
Jardone crossing the line now, so the running order back at the top of the screen is once again accurate. Mark McCrary also having it off, doing the same thing that James Sharik did coming out of turn 5.
Hey.
He went a little bit farther out, though. And fortunately, with him doing it when he did, the field is strung out a little bit more. Won't fall nearly as far back. It'll still fall, but not as far. So now we are tasked with showing you what the heck happened over these first couple of laps. And it has been a lot. So once again, from the top, James Sharik through turn 5. But he caught that tire wall as well right at the end, which is what turned him around completely. Then after that, it was Nikolai Jardone going off and downhill. Oh, wheels on the grass, that'll do it. That's where the damage on the right rear of Silvestri came from. Chase Leahy also with an off. It's coming through the kink, takes it too wide. Mows through the polystyrene DRS board. Tyler Truex off at the exit of the carousel. And if you wait and watch, Vince Burns does the same. Matt Garrett also had a little bit of a moment. This, however, is Steven Sharik going off at Canada corner, too late on the brakes. Oh no, looked fine on the brakes, just looked a little bit too excited back on throttle. Tommy Allen Jr. also had a moment. Final corner. Off and wide. Mark McCrary's incident again. I know there's a lot going on. There's McCrary. And then just now, while we've been showing you these replays, Vince Burns has had another off in the 55. This is at Canada corner. As we now bring you back live, Greg McConey and Scott Formosa battling for 7th.
Oh, you missed a hell of a battle when Burleson was alongside of Formosa. Opened the door and Truex followed him through. Now McConey has followed the two of them through, as Truex plus 14 is currently sitting in 6th. Anthony Burleson has that Toyota in his rearview mirror, getting ever larger as they come through the kink. And Burleson doing what he can right now, plus 4, so a good run out of the 79 so far.
Very, very good run for Anthony Burleson in the number 79. Chase implications as J.D. Woodward goes off ahead. Now, I know that Star Wars car is not the actual car that he is running in this race.
You are correct.
And the same goes with Justin Clapper in the 63. I've tried everything I can. I've reset Trading Paint so many times. I've reset the in-sim graphics, and just for some reason it does not want to update the paint scheme for some of these guys. As here comes Alan Marshall looking to defend against Steven Luschinski in the 99.
One of Marshall's first starts this season. We haven't seen him a whole ton, but looking to try to help his Speed Kings teammates here tonight at Road America.
Anthony Burleson had an off on the exit of turn 1. You saw the tire tracks going through the gravel trap. Championship implications for Greg Vielle going into the final corner. Running by himself, catches the grass on corner entry and keeps it around. Fortunately for him, no damage. And we had just mentioned Justin Clapper and had just shown him on screen not that long after this happens going into Canada corner. Too hot on entry. Not by much, but just enough.
Meanwhile, up at the front of this piece, Thomas Aaron has carved out an 11-second gap back to Ryan Zunk, who sits in second. And Zunk has a good 6.5 seconds over J.D. Woodward, who for a while there was slugging it out with Chase Leahy. Woodward has gotten the clear, though, and Ryan Truex is now up into the top 5, plus 15.
Big moments for a couple of guys. Greg McConey going off, Steven Charette going off. Boy, McConey, another big slide coming out of the kink.
And if you ask McConey, he will freely admit he is not a fan of road courses.
No, he's not, but key is just to keep the car on the racing surface, and that's exactly what he's done to this point, right up until this point.
You know, you ought to take Greg under your wing, because if memory serves me correctly, the last time you and I were at Road America, you were on track and dominated a race.
I was at that, as there's Greg McConey going off at the final corner in that number 12. Yeah, that was a race where I was wishing that we didn't have stage breaks, because at that point, by the time we had gotten to the stage break there, I was ahead by like a minute 12, and I did not want to give that up.
Understandably, as unfortunately Tyler Truex just had a throughput as he's trying to reconnect to the sim right now. One of your closest battles on track is that battle for third, as Chase Leahy closes in on J.D. Woodward coming through turn 5. Woodward blows the apex, is able to get it just back on track in time to get uphill through Corvette corner and not lose the spot to Leahy, but Leahy applying the pressure right now.
It's quite a task. 1, getting these cars slowed down, and 2, trying to get them back up again after going through a corner in first gear. These things are very, very torquey. Back end does not want to stick. As you see Silvestri in the background there having an off. A little bit wide and downhill. Nothing too dramatic, however. Keeps it going straight. Jake Waltman moving his way forward. That's Anthony Burleson in 9th, right in front of him. Keeping an eye on the chase, Greg Vielle, James Charette, Cole Gadgedoris, and Robert Walton Seth Gadjadores, pardon me, and Robert Walton, the 4 lowest running Chase drivers, as Chase Leahy has Ryan Truex all over him.
Yeah, Leahy through the block coming through Canada corner. That kind of stacked up Truex behind him. Truex looking to the inside, going into the final corner, though. Leahy slams the door. Truex going to slot back in line, use the uphill for some draft off of the 34. As Leahy running a little bit of a defensive line up the front chute.
Let's take a lap here for a moment with Ryan Truex just to show you, one, the elevation changes and just how precise you have to be around here. We'll throw the dashboard up as well. J.D. Woodward went into that corner really deep. Through turn 2, now turn 3. Truex looking on Leahy. Leahy will give him the room.
Matt Garrett having a throughput.
Turn 4 right here under the Sargento Bridge. For the big braking zone down at turn 5. Back end getting really light on Truex there. Up the hill. Very tight and blind turn 6. You don't quite appreciate how blind that corner is until you're sitting in the seat. Down into downhill.
It doesn't help that coming under that Corvette bridge, you're cresting the hill as you're going into the braking zone for that corner. So you really have to get the car woed down up the hill, but you can't. You've got to be right on that ragged edge, or else you are going to hemorrhage time.
Out of the carousel, you saw how long he had to wait before getting back on the gas. Oh, wow. That's what happens if you take too much of that curb and end up hitting the grass. Coming out of that kink, Truex trying to straight line Canada corner as much as he can, the entry to it at least. Gets it woed down. Another blind corner, uphill, camber falling away. Can't see the exit in this corner here, which is so difficult. These cars do not like braking and turning, and you have to do both of those things in the final corner there.
Oh, Silvestri right behind him caught the grass coming out of the final corner and was dancing all the way up till he crested the front straight.
There is Silvestri. Thank you to Ryan Truex for unwittingly taking us for a lap around this racetrack, as Silvestri again sat on pole. Greg McConey in pit road, Scott Formosa in as well. So we see Silvestri in that number 97. Trying to work his way up.
And received word about McConey's paint scheme tonight. His daughter asked him for that paint scheme.
Well, there you go.
So definitely a...
He's playing Father of the Year last night, and I guess he's getting a couple extra brownie points tonight as Burleson and Waltman go at it for 8th. Bit of a shot there for Burleson, just couldn't put the power down coming up the hill. It's a lot of left rear damage there for Anthony Burleson in the 79. Steven Leszczynski there as well.
He's been a recipient of a chrome horn from somebody.
Wasn't from Leszczynski, I'll tell you that, as Waltman starting to get away a little bit.
Holman on a pretty decent recovery drive right now. Plus 17, currently sitting in 8th.
Somebody else plus 17 is Thomas Aaron, 17.5 seconds clear of Ryan Zunk in the race lead. Now this is a battle for 3rd here between J.D. Woodward, Ryan Truex, and Daniel Silvestri. Silvestri has gotten around Truex for 4th. And again, Woodward with a solid finish and a great run last week at Rockingham. He's found himself in quite a nice spot as it relates to the next round of the playoffs, as we're on the final lap here before the end of stage 1.
Robert Walton getting turn 5 all wrong. And turn 6.
Take a look at that. Here's Robert Walton in the 66, one of the chase drivers here tonight. Just a little too hot, I would say.
Watch him going into the uphill.
A lot of rear brake in it is what that would be. Jardone having to take evasive action. Same thing with Greg McConey. And going uphill, Walton. Blind corner, and that's what happens.
James Sharik trying to claw his way back up the field in the Abuto number 37. Now works his way past Scott Formosa.
A couple of guys having offs here. McConey having an off. Waltman. McCrary having an off.
Leahy.
Yep. There's Daniel Silvestri going for third. Running the exit a little bit wide, and that will give the position back to J.D. Woodward, at least for the moment. Couldn't clear him before going into the carousel. Now Woodward could possibly fall back to fifth. Truex, however, doesn't take advantage. And Woodward will slot into fourth as Thomas Aaron comes through the final couple of corners. He was able to sweep at Circuit of the Americas early this year. And Thomas Aaron will continue his winning ways on road courses, building up a 21-second lead before crossing the line to take victory here in stage number 1 here at Road America. Actually, you know what? I take that back because it's the end of the lap, I've just remembered.
It's the end of the lap after the 5th car crosses. As Vince Burns also getting it wrong coming through 5.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be wrong.
No. I mean, he would have to have a major issue for you to not get this one right.
If someone could just clip that and send it to me real quick, I'll play it again in about a minute.
What, that you said you're wrong?
No. No. Very cute. Good job.
You're welcome. I have one a night, and that was the one.
Burleson looking to the right of Jake Waltman to be the inside going into turn 1. And Burleson sneaks his way through, gets the spot. Waltman, however, drifting on the way out of turn 1. He will lose not just that spot, but he'll also lose out to Steven Luschinski.
Well, the good news is it could have gone a whole lot worse, as he still doesn't have that car under control.
Yeah, no, he's really lit those rear tires up. Still wiggling down the straightaway.
It's going to be fun to see how he handles this downhill, as that's Cole Gadjadoris not that far adrift to him. Locks him up, cresting the hill.
It'll be fun to see him. Fun to see what his rear tire wear is.
I guess it'd be north of 50% right now.
Ryan Truex had a little bit of an off. That puts him about a second behind. Who was that?
Waltman drifting turn 6.
He'll probably be drifted.
And 7.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, my goodness. Formula Drift drivers, eat your heart out.
Yeah, he's
completely drifting turn 8.
He's got the handbrake on now is what he's doing.
Pretty much.
As now we come out of the final corner, continuing his winning ways, has built a 25-second lead this time. Now it's official. Thomas Aaron has won stage 1.
I'm still watching this battle for 10th as Cole Gadjadoris gets a better run on Waltman coming into the Kank. Waltman going to throw the block, though.
Silvestri going for second. Silvestri has second. So Silvestri pit starts and will finish second in stage 1.
Waltman doing everything he can to hang on for 10th, though.
Yep, there's Waltman here. Cole Gadjadoris behind him. Caution is out. Stage is over. as Waltman continues to rally his way around. He's having
Frank,
fun now.
I wonder if you know how they do in Tokyo.
He's having fun now is what he's doing.
So to run down your top 10 to get the stage points, Thomas Aaron coming home with the stage 1 victory. Daniel Silvestri, Ryan Zunk, J.D. Woodward, Tyler Truex. Good recovery drive for him after choosing to...
Ryan Truex coming home in 5th, sir.
That's what I'm sorry. Ryan Truex in 5th. Steven Sharik, Chase Leahy, Anthony Burleson, Stephen Lashinsky, and Jake Waltman, after starting almost shotgun, getting the final point in the top 10.
And with that, we will take our first break of the night. We'll be right back to Road America right after this.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in your yard? There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are not, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are not, you're not alone. You are not, you're not alone.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure hips firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter and a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, the rocket! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Back here at Road America, race number 2 in the round of 16. Here for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series playoffs. This is the one and only Xfinity race in the playoffs, and for the first time, I think in ESBN and ThunderClap history, we've actually completed the commercial block in a rather comfortable amount of time.
We have it that, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that, you know, these pace laps around this joint, they're 2.25 minutes. So
it does take a bit of time to get around here. With that also means we have some time, as the lights are still on the pace car, so we do have a little bit of time here. Tony, if you want to bring down our Stage 1 winner here for a chat really quick.
And we are going to do that right now as we're reaching out to Thomas Aaron, your Stage 1 winner. And Tom, talk us through how that first stage went for you, as you had carved yourself out about a 25-second gap.
Well, I got really lucky again. Another road course, getting lucky again. So Daniel missed the start, so me and him are pretty much the fastest ones here, so I was able to pull away. But now the real racing starts because Daniel's back up here with me. And got cars in front of me now, so I got to race now.
And you're talking about the 37 of Gadjadoris and the 12 of Maconi, as you know, those guys didn't quite have the initial start that they were hoping for. What do you need to do to win Stage 2?
I just got to be patient getting through these first few corners because I know I have the speed to get around them. I just got to be patient, smart. These laps take forever, so there's plenty of opportunities to make the pass. I just got to not get overzealous with Daniel behind me, so just got to chill out and try to make the right moves.
All right. Again, Thomas, congratulations on winning yet another stage at a road course. Hopefully we're talking to you in about 25 more laps.
Man, I hope so. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy the race.
Well, there you heard it, Frank. He... You know, he's got a good pace for himself. He knows what's going on around him. And I think his confidence is up right now, knowing that he has a lot of pace that not too many other drivers do tonight.
I couldn't imagine why his confidence would be up, as we are now, we're going to tell you here in just a second how long this pace lap is around here. As Greg McConey, we're seeing like right above the start-finish line, just in front of the start line is where this camera is perched right now. As these guys double file up to get back racing again. 3:41 is how long it took these guys to get around here under pace. So if you're running under caution here, you've got time to not only write a novel but read one as well.
But you know, we're getting ready to turn them back loose. Ryan Zunk has had some good pace in that IK9.com Toyota Supra. You know, you've got Thomas Aaron up there in that Shiner Bach number 93, which we've seen him in all season. Daniel Silvestri in the McDonald's 97. has shown pace every time we've come to a road course that he's been to. So I expect a little more raciness, especially at the front of this piece, now that some of the faster guys have worked their way back forward.
Ryan Truex, thanks to damage repair, will be back in 16th. So all that work that he did at the beginning of this race to get up through the field and finish the first stage in the 5th position, he's going to have to do all over again. Something I don't think we did at the beginning of this race is the weather. Now, we usually do that after the grid. However, I think I whiffed on it. We are just about at 4:30 p.m. in sim time. A 74-degree ambient temperature, 94-degree track temperature, which I'm sure probably explains some of the issues that we have seen. However, I don't think that track temperature is quite accurate. I think it was artificially inflated a little bit with Jake Waltman doing what he was doing on the final lap of that stage and the first lap under caution.
I'm showing it at 94 on my end, which is updated quite frequently. But that 6 mile an hour wind out of the west, that's why we've been seeing so many problems on that downhill, because that's a crosswind into the braking zone of turn number 5.
A lot of trees in there. You would think that would break that a little bit, but some of it still gets through, and it definitely still affects how the car drives. We'll only have about 4 or 5 laps of green flag racing here before we go to stage number 3. So whatever is going to happen here is going to happen quick. Greg McConey and James Sharik will start on the front row. Those guys came into pit on lap 7, same as Scott Formosa, who will restart in 10th. Everyone else has come in under this stage break. And again, we will go to lap 20 before we go to the stage, which means we will have 6 laps of green flag racing to go before we hand out our second green and white checkered flag.
And we've seen it already tonight. Anything can happen in those 6 laps as the field works its way through the S's and into that off-camber penultimate corner. That's one of the more difficult corners on this track, too, because the track just falls away from you as you're trying to turn. Out of the final corner they come. Pace car picks up a little bit of speed, gets ready to peel on off. McConey has the button as he leads the field into the uphill. There goes the pace car. Here comes the green. And McConey wastes no time jumping on the loud pedal.
Yeah, no, he stepped on the gas and said, "Get going, Bluey." And off he went, a half a second lead. Going into turn 1, Thomas Aaron, unfortunately for McConey, has gotten clear and is into second as Silvestri dives to the inside of James Sharik. Sharik ends up going wide.
Sharik got pushed completely off the track. He's still not done yet.
Oh, Burleson. Oh, Clapper as well.
Oh, my goodness.
The turn 2 area is completely blocked off, and yes, the caution comes out. Robert Walton went around as well. There's Burleson again hitting the wall, trying to straighten the car out. Justin Clapper caught a big piece of that. So did Tyler Chalk in the 31 just behind him. A lot of cars got into it as that track blocked up quite quickly.
And Sharik was trying to save it coming out of the grass. Blast Burleson. Clapper absolutely nowhere to go. And everybody trying to take evasive action as the 66 gets punted by Waltman.
There's the 37 of James Sharik. Runs off, runs wide. Loses it, getting back onto the track right in front of Anthony Burleson. And then there you see the 63 coming in. Right in front of Greg Vielle. Greg Walton going, not Greg Walton. The 66 of Robert Walton going around. So we'll jump on board. This is Justin Clapper on board. Just nowhere to go. Vielle was to his left. no room on his right. Right on board. This is inside the car with Anthony Burleson. You can hear he's not, is right when he gets on throttle is when he's just made the decision, you know what, I'm going for this. Just in case he goes around, and by that point he had gone around.
I mean, there's no excuse for what Waltman did to Walton.
We'll take a look at that in just a minute here. As you just saw, that was Greg Vial's view of proceedings. And we'll see here. This is a little bit later on. This is after the caution has come out. Robert Walton in the 66. And there's Jake Waltman getting into him. Just before we cast stones here, let's see. This is from on board of Waltman.
He never lifted.
Yeah, no, he wasn't on throttle, but he wasn't off the 66.
All he had to do was touch the brakes.
Oh, I agree with you. So James Sharik, for the second consecutive go-around, has an issue on the start that puts him towards the back. James Sharik, Anthony Burleson, Justin Clapper, Robert Walton, Greg Vial, Jake Waltman involved in that. A big melee that clogs up the track in turn 2 that brings out the caution. Greg McConey has had an off somewhere that has forced him back into the 4th position, at least for the moment. We'll see if he goes around, as the field has not yet caught up to the pace car. And once they do...
Excuse me, sir, I'll be right back.
Yep. Once they do, we'll take a little bit better a look as to what the order is going to be here. Good news for some of these guys is this will be the last road course race of the season for these guys. But while we're waiting for these guys to catch up to the pace car, which is still nowhere in sight, we will speak for a moment with the driver of the number 63, Justin Clapper. Justin, what happened in that incident from your perspective?
I'm actually going back and watching the replay right now to try to get my own perspective of it.
Oh, don't cheat. Don't cheat. Just do the real driver thing. I didn't see it, but somebody done wrecked me.
Yeah. It's just one of those deals where there's nowhere to go. I mean, you're going downhill, and even when you start to get into the brakes, the car just keeps rolling into these things. And unfortunately, the entire track was blocked. I tried to go to the left, but I think it was a 26 was on my left side, and had nowhere to go, and got the right front pretty heavily damaged, and was trying to limp it back and lost the motor going into 12. So that's the end of my race, unfortunately. But we had some strategy planned out to be there at the end. Just sucks that I didn't even get a chance to get up there and race with these guys.
Yeah, you've had a couple. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you definitely had a strong race going, even after that melee on the initial start.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we had probably top 12 speed. Nothing crazy, but wow, man, I'm watching it now. Yeah, that contact there with the wall definitely killed it. I was trying to test the RPMs to see how heavily damaged the motor was, but she didn't even make it back around.
All right, Justin, thank you very much for taking the time, and we'll hopefully you can get back out here.
Yeah, it's going to be a little while.
We'll see him out on track hopefully sooner rather than later. We know least for engine repair, it is at least a half-hour repair.
Usually 35 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. So the field has finally caught back up to the pace car as they head down the long back straightaway. And just to show you where these guys are, the number in the dot is the number of your favorite driver. Find your driver's number, and that's where they are on track in relation to one another. Heading down into Canada Corner now, as we will have 18 laps to go in this race. And yes, that off, unfortunately, for Greg McConey will cost him the race lead when we go back to green. And this here is the aforementioned off. While we were looking at replays of the incident, this is what happened with McConey. That's coming through turn number 9. That's downhill. And just a little bit too hot going into the corner, and that is what sent him back into 4th. Here it is. It's completely unforced error.
It was at that, but something that wasn't an unforced error. Jake Waltman has been parked for the night.
That's very interesting, especially after the issues that he has had last week, especially. I think this is what has officially done Waltman in here. Yep, here it is. This is him being told to... Oh, maybe not. That's probably him in reaction to being told that he is done for the night. Let's see what he did here. This is going through... It doesn't appear as though he's trying to drift the car the way he was at the end of stage 1. But in any event, that 06 will no longer be taking part in the race here this evening. And that does mean something, because here are the point standings right now, with Waltman in 6th in points. This is certainly not going to help his cause, especially with only Dustin Stallings behind him that did not race.
Tell you, a man who's definitely looking for a good finish here tonight is that 4th place driver, Greg McConey, as he was at the cutoff coming into tonight.
He was tied, or pardon me, yeah, you're right. He is the cutoff, just 2 points clear of Ryan Truex and Cole Gadjadoris, who were tied for 13th in points. Seth Gadjadoris has not had a good night in the number 4, and again, Dustin Stallings not here. Your lowest running 4 battling for the championship, Jake Waltman running in 24th, James Sharik, there he is in 22nd, Robert Walton in 21st, and Cole Gadjadoris in that Red Bull number 89 running in 17th. Those are the 4 lowest running playoff contenders in this race. And now the duel that we were expecting to have on the first lap is what we will see here on lap number 18. Again, we'll only have a couple of laps to go before the stage comes to a close, and we'll be pacing again. And I'm not entirely sure how many guys we're going to be seeing come down pit road under this stage break.
Probably not many, because we've only had 1 lap. It was actually half a lap under Anger since the last stage break.
Greg McConey and Scott Formosa are the only 2 drivers that only came in during the first stage, lap 7. So if anyone was going to come in, I would have to assume it would be the 2 and the 8, the 12 and the 80. if anyone does come in, as we head now out of the final corner. I'm not sure where Ryan Zunk lost his hood, but in any event, he has. Pace car takes the pit road access lane, and up the hill we go. Thomas Aaron right at the peak of the hill, and Silvestri was waiting for it. He timed it perfectly. So did McConey, getting up to third.
Yeah, those two Ford Mustangs on that outside lane got a good jump. J.D. Woodward in the other Chevy down the low side, not so much, as now he has to deal with Chase Leahy behind him. We've seen Leahy strong all night, but we're still door-to-door for first at the front of this piece.
We heard after the break the interview with Thomas Aaron. He said that, yep, this is when the real racing begins. Now with Silvestri up with him. Oh, around at the back, I think that's Nikolai Jardon. It is around at the back. Up here still at the front. J.D. Woodward and Chase Leahy getting close. There goes the 23 of Zunk punting Steven Sharik. And around goes Chase Leahy as collateral. Chase Leahy would have had no knowledge of that coming.
That was ugly with a capital UG.
We'll take a look at that during the stage break, because Lord knows we'll have time. As there's Thomas Aaron and Daniel Silvestri, one in the championship points, the other one not. One with only one win on the season, the other with 3.
And as far as Leahy goes, that was pure net code as the 83 was spinning back up the track, net coded into J.D. Woodward.
Silvestri with a big push coming through the kink.
And he was overdriving it because that kink is so easy to get it wrong.
Yep, it is. Oh, Greg McConey around right in front of us. Too much rear brake for the 12. And boy, he had a golden opportunity if anything were to happen with these two up in front. Racing as hard as they are, Silvestri locks up the brakes to keep from running into the back of the 93. Somehow keeps it on track. We've only got a couple laps to go here before the end of the stage.
Silvestri might have a tire going down, as you saw him wiggling that car to make sure everything was still fine coming into the uphill. Silvestri struggling with 1 to go here in the stage. Thomas Aaron shows the way, almost a second to the good right now.
Ryan Truex has gotten up to 4th through all of this mayhem and nonsense. Mark McCrary battling with Steven Leszczynski. This is for 7th. Leszczynski couldn't quite make the move. Greg Vielle and Greg McConey going side by side for 9th.
McConey going to wrestle the spot away from Vielle temporarily at least.
Now he does.
And this just in, Nikolai Jardon has decided to put it on the hauler.
Cole Gadjadouris also making a pass on Steven Sharik as Alan Marshall gets around the 83. Heavily damaged 83. Daniel Silvestri has gotten to the race lead. Take a look. Here's the pass for the race lead going into the downhill turn 5. Side by side under the Sargento Bridge, dead even. And then just on brakes, Silvestri pulls the spot.
Silvestri was sideways coming under the Speedville Bridge, and now he's starting to pull a gap coming through the kink on Aaron. Aaron's got nothing for him right this second.
Now, Thomas Aaron had gotten into the grass a little bit coming out of the carousel. Ryan Truex right on the back bumper of J.D. Woodward. Greg McConey sliding into Canada corner, clips the grass, and around he goes again. Same corner.
He'll get it right sooner or later.
He had it right for a while.
Yeah, under pacing.
Back up to the battle for 3rd. One more lap to go until the stage break.
Ryan Truex giving J.D. Woodward all he can handle right now coming up the front chute.
Heavy braking zone coming. Truex looks like he's backing off a little bit. Truex just put the fastest lap of the race down to 2:15.42.
Because that's the stage.
It is the stage. No, you're right. It is the stage.
So Daniel Silvestri, Thomas Aaron, J.D. Woodward, Ryan Truex, Ryan Zunk, Scott Formosa, Mark McCrary, Stephen Lashinsky, and Greg Vale, and Cole Gadjadoris continuing his recovery drive, gets the final spot in the top 10 for this stage. So all important bonus points. And the man who came out on the losing end of that whole exchange, Greg McConey, who was the control car coming out of stage 1.
I promise I'll figure out when these stages finish at some point. So as we now wait for these guys to come back around to get back under the pace car, this is pretty much every incident that happened. This is Nikolai Jardone going through turn 3, the very first lap of the stage. And Demon Slayer number 11. Walton also caught a piece of that in the 66. Here's what happened with Steven Sharik. This is just Zunk getting in way too hot.
And that's where Zunk lost his hood.
Oh, he had lost it prior to that. Big hit.
But if you watch that from the chopper cam, you can see that there's a lot of daylight between the spinning 83 and the 47 of Woodward.
Here it is. There's the 23 coming in. Hard hit right to the middle. And yet that is what spun the 34. Contact from the 47. Again, the 47 would have had no clue that was coming.
Well, the thing is, it was pure netcode. That was, a glitch in the matrix there with iRacing.
But to be fair, that's an incident that even with netcode, as we see Greg McConey's first excursion with Canada Corner, that's an incident that's going to happen no matter what. There are certain bits of netcode that you really can't blame netcode because it's going to happen whether there's netcode or not. As here's Tyler Truex going off at the final corner. Anthony Burleson also had an issue. Once again, Canada Corner by himself.
And we've just had a handful of retirements here.
I'm sure.
Including Tyler Chalk and Nikolai Jardon. Jake Waltman was parked for the night. Matt Garrett decided to bail out earlier after about 5.5 laps. Justin Clapper still on pit road. They're about halfway through that engine swap right now.
It's Greg McConey's second incident. Through Canada Corner. This is Tyler Chalk. This is probably will shed some light into why he's done for the night. Caught the grass going into the uphill turn 6 and nosed it into the tire wall. That was after the caution had already come out for the end of the stage. And then here is J.D. Woodward coming through the carousel, caught the rights on the grass and almost looped it.
And Frank, if you take a look at the current weather conditions, the track temperatures continue to cool off in the afternoon sun here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Down to 90 degrees. And with that, we will now take another break here. From Road America, you are watching race number 2 in the round of 16 here from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We'll be back right after this. 1 and 2 winners of stage 1 and 2.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in your yard? There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are Lord, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure the hip's firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter, a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Well, oh, they're wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Back again here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Cole Gadget-Doris, Tyler Truex, and Chase Leahy all decided to not come into pit under this stage break. Everybody else did, meaning the Stage 2 winner, Daniel Silvestri, will start on the outside, well, the left side of row number 2. As in the foreground there, the 83 of Steven Sharik, coming out of pit road after repairing crash damage. Now, we want to make an amendment here. We had said that Jake Waldman in the 06 had been parked by race control. That has turned out to be not true. Jake Waldman decided to park himself here tonight. So after so that incident that we saw of him lighting the rears up and going headlong into the wall coming out of Canada Corner there, that incident was him retiring the car.
Yes, it absolutely was. We did get clarification under this caution from race control. Race control actually deemed the issue that happened with the 66 as just a racing incident and no malice intended there. So not at fault there. But Cole Gadget-Doris right now gonna have the button as the field works its way into turn number 5 and the lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car.
Cole Gadget-Doris and Tyler Truex both came into pit under the caution flag that happened in the middle of that stage back on lap 16. Chase Leahy, who will start third. just flashed by on the screen there. He last came into pit on lap 12. Everybody else on track came into pit during that stage, even though they only had a couple of laps on the tires.
They did, and you kind of got to wonder what we're about to see here. Is we should get a restart with 11 to go. It's going to be, Katie bar the door, whatever you got left in your tank as the driver, you're going to have to show it here, because there is a lot of hungry drivers right behind Gadgedoris and Truex right now.
Not expecting anyone outside of the current top three, meaning Cole Gadgedoris, Tyler Truex, and Chase Leahy, to have to come into pit during this stage. This stage is only going to be a lap or so longer than the opening stage of this race was, and barring a caution for a track blockage the way we saw at the middle of stage 2 there, I'm not expecting these guys to have to come into pit unless they're in the top 3.
Right. I mean, that's a big ask out of Chase Leahy, Cole Gadgedoris, and Tyler Truex. What they're asking to get out of those tanks of fuel, it's going to be right on the ragged edge, and if we go into overtime, they're definitely coming down.
Gadgedoris and Truex might be able to make it. However, Chase Leahy will be asking for 23 laps out of the tires and the fuel tank. So that will certainly be a tall order. As Tony, we're getting set to go back to green.
We are at that as the pace car brings them through the final corner. Gadgedoris in that Red Bull Toyota Supra is the control car. Coming into the uphill, pace car makes that hard right turn onto pit road. Gadgedoris wastes no time jumping on the loud pedal, gets a good getaway, as here comes the 34 Leahy to the side of Truex going into turn number 1.
Leahy, a very good start there for that number 34. And you would figure with the leader in front of him, he would have gotten that good restart. However, it is Truex really diving it in. So did Cole Gadgedoris. Both of them go off track. Truex by far and away worse. Chase Leahy comes away with the race lead, but only for a moment as Gadgedoris slides the rears again. Silvestri and Aaron right to the back of the 34.
Looks like Silvestri and Leahy did get together on the exit of turn number 3. Under the Sargento Bridge they go, as Leahy now with command to Silvestri and Aaron still door to door into the downhill for turn number 5.
You please race side by side as long as you possibly can. Well, okay, that wasn't long enough. Silvestri and Aaron get their issues sorted. Ryan Truex into 4th. J.D. Woodward in 5th. Cole Gadgedoris has fallen from the race lead down to 6th, as Leahy will look to hold on as long as he possibly can, as Silvestri looks to the inside going into the downhill turn number 8.
Silvestri bombs it going in. Contact on the corner exit. That's going to let Silvestri get the lead as Leahy backed off to not turn him. Here comes Aaron to the outside coming through the carousel.
Silvestri caught curb there on the inside, threw him out wide. Around goes Greg McConey, and around goes Scott Formosa. There's Formosa, there's McConey, also the 4 of Seth Gadgedoris having an issue. Boy, just a lot going on. Tyler Truex also involved in that. The caution has come out.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, excuse me?
I just saw what happened to Steven Leszczynski.
Well, there's
our first, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night.
Yeah, he's had a mare of a time in some position here. And we're going to see what happens. We saw the initial incident between McConey and Formosa.
Well, Formosa got sideways by himself going into the carousel.
Yeah, but we saw that just in the background. There's Formosa wiggling there. McConey had nowhere to go. Neither did Marshall, and that's a big hit for Leszczynski.
If Formosa goes off again in Canada corner trying to limp that car around.
So we'll see here, and we'll see what, because I didn't see anything from Luschinski that garnered the reaction you gave. That's a hard hit, though, in the front, and then
That's what I'm saying.
It was a big shunt to the front and then gets clipped in the rear by Tyler Truex.
It's a situation of the last thing that went through his mind was his own eyeballs.
See this from on board of Greg McConey. Bluey, close your eyes. He gets loose there, clips the grass, continues to get loose, and then watch out. Ooh. You saw it coming.
McConey drives in VR too, doesn't he?
I can't say I'm sure.
Oh, if he does, that was definitely a...
That's Luschinski's view of things.
Dinner's coming up.
This is from Scott Formosa, and again, Formosa is the one that triggered this. Loose, loose, loose. There's the contact with McConey. This guy's continuing to get it wrong. It's from on board of Alan Marshall. We'll see how close this was because he had just barely made it through. Wow.
Skin of his teeth.
Tyler Truex caught a piece of it. Then it was Ryan Zunk was there as well.
Anthony Burleson catching a piece of that as well. And this just in from race control. Scott Formosa given an EOL penalty, being charged with that incident.
As it would be. So to reset here, it'll be Silvestri, Leahy, Aaron, Truex, Woodward, Gadgedoris, McCrary, Marshall, Zunk, and Vielle. Your top 10.
The recovery drive for Greg Vielle as plus 14. Cole Gadgedoris sitting plus 20 currently, although Gadgedoris was last down on lap 16. So a little bit of a tire advantage for those guys in front of him. Same thing goes for Chase Leahy. He was last down on lap 12, currently plus 4, and Ryan Truex sitting plus 16 in fourth. Thomas Aaron started on the outside of row number 1 with Daniel Silvestri, as Silvestri kind of gave up the ghost there on the initial start, not wanting to get run over from behind, pit starting, and now back where he belongs, up at the front of this piece.
Let's actually bring in a driver here again. Again, it's nice to have longer pace laps. It does force you to kind of kill time a little bit, but it also helps us talk to the guys and kind of get their view of what happened, as we're definitely going to have at least 2 more pace laps here. Let's bring in Steven Luschinski. Steven, from your perspective, that looked like a wild little incident there.
Definitely. Just got involved with it. Didn't see it too late and drove right into it. So that's a mistake on my part.
We'll take a look again here and show on the broadcast what happened there with your number 99, and just a really hard hit, and not many places where you could have gone there to not collect some sort of damage.
Definitely. Like I said, I saw him spinning up there. I tried braking a little bit, but it was just going straight for it. So like I said, it's a racing deal. It's all good. We'll try to finish this thing off.
How difficult has it been out there tonight? It seems like a lot of guys going off, a lot of guys having issues, like right in the worst possible spot. How difficult has it been out there tonight?
For me, I've just been cruising around in the mid-10th, about 10th, just doing my thing and just letting everybody else fall off the track. So, but like I said, I got in that incident tonight. It's probably going to wreck my night all night. So, but hey, it's all right. We'll go to the next weekend.
All right, Steven, we'll let you get back to it, bud.
Thank you.
It's probably one of the most authentic interviews that we could have done because of the quality of the microphone there. Sounded like he was actually speaking into a headset radio. So that was awesome.
That was absolutely awesome. And we're going to speak to the other part of that little melee. Driver of the Bluey Ford Mustang GT, Mr. Greg McConey. Greg, not the night you were hoping for.
No, this hasn't been a fun one for me. Just a lot of mistakes. I felt sloppy under braking, and it's cost me a shot at a top 5 at the end of stage 2, and cost me the lead on that first restart when I went off, and those guys got around me under yellow. And then with what happened there, I think it was I think Formosa was in front of me. I just had nowhere to go. There was nothing I could do.
Well, Greg, apparently Canada Corner has been the bane of your existence all night long. But, next week, a track that you have had success at the past would go to the Brickyard and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's back on the oval, which will be fun. No more road courses. Thank God. I hate road courses. If those don't know, they're not fun for me. But no, I just got to get through tonight. I had 5 minutes optional. Trying to get as much of that fixed as I can, so that way get some points. Hopefully get myself away from the cut line and get into next week, and hopefully stay in a spot that I can move on to the round of 12 and go from there.
All right, Greg, best of luck to you in the remainder of the race.
Thanks, guys. Just want to shout out the wife and everybody watching. Appreciate it. Decided to pull a fun car out for tonight, but not having too much fun in it.
Your daughter helped you design that, didn't she?
I designed it for her.
There you go.
Definitely for her.
Well, Father of the Year, Greg McConey, best of luck to you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Good
news. You could hear the dejection in his voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Good news for McConey, at least, though, is you can probably only lose about 1 lap with 5 minutes of repairs.
No, he's already rolling.
Place. Yeah, he did. Like right as we had switched to Silvestri, he was off and running. So a very long night for some of these guys, and we will have 7 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing here, which means another 4-minute pace lap is on order.
We are, as Daniel Silvestri, Thomas Aaron, and J.D. Woodward going to line up stem to stern. I dare say Chase Leahy in that 34, who's going to be restarting on the outside of row number 1, is a sitting duck here. As you look at the heavy hitters behind him, that's Ryan Truex and Cole Gadjadoris lined up right behind him. This is going to be a very interesting corner number 1 coming up.
It certainly is, as Silvestri, for the first time tonight, will actually start from P1. He qualified on pole, decided to pit start. Then during the stage breaks, he was stuck behind drivers that did not come into pit. Won stage 2, came into pit. 3 guys didn't in front of him. So now finally, Silvestri will get to start from the grid slot that he earned during qualifying.
This is going to be a fun restart as you look right behind him. That's his biggest contender all night. Thomas Aaron is, those are the only 2 guys that can say that they have stage wins here tonight at Road America as they come up the hill and under the Corvette Bridge into Corvette Corner. And this is about to be a wild one, Frank. It definitely is.
Certainly is. And again, there's no guarantee we will not see another caution if the road is not blocked up enough. Chase contenders, where are they running? Thomas Aaron running 3rd, Ryan Truex 4th, Woodward 5th, Gadjadoris, Cole Gadjadoris 6th, Mark McCrary 7th. He's already locked into the next round after the win last week. Ryan Zunk 9th, Greg Vielle 10th, Seth Gadjadoris 11th, Steven Sharik running 12th, Formosa 14th, James Sharik 17th, Greg McConey 19th, Jake Waltman out of the race in 24th. I did forget to mention somebody, the 66 of Robert Walton, I apologize, running 15th. Position switched right as I was saying.
It's Formosa, Lachinsky, and Tyler Truex all taking EOLs on this restart.
Why not?
Best way to try to stay out of the melee.
Certainly. Make sure no one's behind you to push you into it.
As the field coming through the kink and Indy Canada corner here. This is going to be the first time we've seen Silvestri with the button all night long, as the pace car starts to pick up a little bit of pace and a little bit of speed trying to get away from this field. The 34 of Lashinsky is going to have to, Leahy is going to have to close that gap as they come into the final corner, Frank.
So Silvestri again in control in that McDonald's number 97. Chase Leahy in the 34 trying to get as much view of Silvestri as possible. Still have the big hill to climb, literally and figuratively. As they come up the hill, there goes Silvestri. We're off and running. And boy, Leahy it looked like he put himself in the grass.
It looked like he may have had a little bit of help from the 56.
I would agree with that.
Zeta shuffled up the front, something fierce.
Yes, it
as
has.
McCrary has gotten by Truex, as has Woodward. And now Ryan Zunk right behind Ryan Truex as they go under the Sargento Bridge.
They filed out quite nicely, though, on this restart, as here comes Mark McCrary looking to take win number 2 here in round number 1, the round of 16. McCrary diving down into turn number 5. Ryan Truex off of him. Alan Marshall battling side by side with Greg Vielle.
Everyone up in the Canada corner, Truex to the inside of McCrary. He's going to make that pass stick. Both those drivers with a ton of damage right now, as J.D. Woodward's looking in his rear mirror saying, go ahead, guys, just use up your stuff. I'm just going to hold down the final step of the podium and move on.
He's got Ryan Truex behind him now, as there goes Woodward off into the grass. Well, the gravel, rather, now in the grass. So Woodward will fall from 3rd, still falling 10th. Position is where he will land.
Alan Marshall applying some pressure right now to Woodward. Woodward getting that car back under himself pretty quickly, as now Formosa and Marshall start to go after each other.
Hard in the back. That was Anthony Burleson. Watch out. Boy, Leszczynski almost nailed him. Got every cone, though.
Trouble coming out of the carousel again. Oh, my.
Yeah, he hit that inside wall, and then watch Leszczynski come in at the back. He got really close. And then Leszczynski 99, watch out. Woo!
Alan Marshall just had an experience going off track.
That drops Marshall from just outside the top 10 to 17th.
Oh. That is a big moment coming through turn 13 as he almost got into it.
Scott Formosa looking to claw his way back up in 11th. That's Vince Burns in 10th. In that PetSmart number 55, Greg Vielle and Seth Gadjadoris battling. The 66 of Robert Walton side by side now with the 47 of J.D. Woodward. Chase Leahy is going to invite himself through as well.
Leahy trying to get through, as here comes the 66 of Walton to the inside of Leahy, coming into the downhill that is turn number 5. Very treacherous braking zone they're coming into. Everybody minding their P's and Q's right now, as Woodward has slipped back into that melee just outside the top 10. As throw a blanket from Scott Formosa back, as Leahy was all sorts of sideways coming out of Corvette corner.
Leahy got a very good run out of turn 5 and up the hill. Tried to put a move on Woodward, just couldn't quite get it done. By the way, Daniel Silvestri, fastest lap of the race, a 2:13.36, a full second quicker than what he did in qualifying.
That is the fastest lap of the event, including practice.
J.D. Woodward may have got a little help coming through the carousel from the 34. Drops him from 12th to 15th.
Well, he's definitely received the chrome horn from somebody as the 66 is off through the kink.
Robert Walton, there he is. Gives Woodward a spot back. Steven Sharik and Cole Gedgedoris now battling. This is for 6th between these two.
And the fact that Sharik is able to hang on like he is nothing short of miraculous, being as there is no front clip on that car.
Chase Leahy off in the penultimate corner. Scott Formosa running in 10th now. And you're right, a great run by Steven Sharik. And we saw how he lost that down in turn 5 at the beginning of stage 2.
Gadgedoris diving it to the inside. Sharik going to battle back coming through 2.
It's a bad exit.
Oy.
A lot of wheel slip for Steven Sharik, for Cole Gadgedoris. Gadgedoris clipped the grass on the entry to turn 3.
In the wheel hop there didn't help him in the slightest.
Certainly did not. So while Steven Sharik is battling in 6th, James Sharik, who's had a mare of an evening, now looking for 12th on Chase Leahy. J.D. Woodward, however, looking for 13th on Sharik. Neither one quite able to do anything about it.
Amazing racing we're seeing here in the closing laps as we are going to be 4 to go at the stripe.
Not missing anything up front. Daniel Silvestri put down, oh, by the way, a casual 1:12.79 that last time by.
Now he's just showing off.
Next closest lap, by the way, Thomas Aaron set his personal best and second fastest lap of the race at a 2:14.05.
It's like everybody laid down their best laps that last time by, especially in your top 5.
The entirety of the top 5 just set their personal bests that last time through. As there goes J.D. Woodward on Chase Leahy. Woodward up to 13th. Closest battle on track here, Cole Gadgedoris, slow out of Canada corner. This will allow Greg Vielle, and contact between the two. Boy, that was right into your living room.
Yes, it was. As
Vielle gets it straight.
They both get it pointed back in the right direction, but Cole Gadgedoris just hemorrhaged a couple of spots as he's under heavy pressure from Vince Burns up the hill towards the start-finish line.
This is what happened that initially set Gadgedoris back. Too hot going through Canada corner, clips the gravel. Here comes Vielle. And I think if Vielle thought he was clear, and he wasn't. Sent both of them around.
That opened the door for Seth to get by his brother Cole, as Cole is starting to walk away from the 55 of Vince Burns. But Burns has to be careful because he's got Sharik, Leahy, and Formosa all over him.
So the brothers Gadgedoris running 7th and 8th, and the brothers Sharik running 6th and 10th.
It's a family affair.
It absolutely is, as Cole Gadgedoris has an off.
Just ran it wide coming through 5 into the uphill, though. Nice and tidy line for that Red Bull Toyota Supra. 37 is Sharik going for a ride on the uphill, though.
Both Gadgedoris and James Sharik, while it may be a family affair for those two, they both had an affair with track limits there in those couple of corners. Vince Burns doing everything he can to just stay ahead of Chase Leahy, as he's been doing for what has seemed like the last half hour. It's only been about 2 or 3 laps.
Oh, and at the front of this piece, Daniel Silvestri just laid the second fastest lap of the session up with a 2:13.92.
Which is why we're not showing you Silvestri right now. He's 5 seconds clear of Thomas Aaron. As there goes Leahy wide in Canada corner. Oh, that's Alan Marshall in the background as well, finding life difficult. James Sharik now the one trying to put Vince Burns under pressure. As now we'll see how far brotherly love extends when both of you are in the playoffs.
I think they have a mutual agreement. Try not to kill each other, but if you are, make sure it's a Sports Center highlight and Mom can pick favorites coming into Thanksgiving dinner.
Haven't really shown much of that 4 of Seth Gadjidoris tonight. He's been around minding his business.
Car's about as pristine as it was when they rolled it off the hauler at the start. One of the few drivers that can say that they haven't touched anything tonight.
Especially with guys having contact before we even rolled off the grid.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, but this is another league that does give out a bonus point for a clean race, is it not?
I believe so. He might have a couple of off tracks here and there. Well, definitely has one now.
Yep. As here comes Cole to his outside, going into 8.
And Cole will take the position. It's just
Actually,
about
that was 7. This is 8. Sorry.
Just about to say, Seth deploying the time-honored tradition, and now Cole gives it right back. Well, what do you think about that? Formosa
has had
off
nothing
as well.
but trouble in turn 8 all night long. It's like McConey had problems during Canada corner. Cole has had nothing but problems coming through turn 8 as he almost clips the cones coming into the kink.
Side by side, Vielle and Burns. There's Cole at the back of this group, but Gadjidoris at the front and the back of this 5-car line. Cole doing everything he can to spin on brake and clipping the grass as Cole throws it up the inside. A big move on Vince Burns, and Burns has fallen from 7th all the way to 11th here in just these last couple of moments.
Well, I think Gadjidoris may have spooked Burns going into Canada corner because he completely locked those things up.
Now James Sharik putting the 4 of Gadjidoris, Seth Gadjidoris under pressure. Greg Vielle has Cole behind him. 6-second lead up front for Daniel Silvestri, not missing anything there.
Take a look at your top 3 right now. There's 6 seconds, a 6.25 second gap from Daniel Silvestri to Thomas Aaron, 6.25 seconds from Thomas Aaron to Ryan Truax, and now a 7-second gap back to Mark McCrary in 4th.
You just read my mind. I was going to say 6 seconds between 1st and 2nd, 2nd and 3rd, and 3rd and 4th.
What do we always say about the cream rising to the top?
You heated the coffee up too much? You heated the milk up too much?
Well, Daniel Silvestri right now.
Never mind.
Yeah, Daniel Silvestri right now in the little latte that he is making here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Quite
he
fitting
is looking
with the McCafe sponsor on it.
He is looking to draw a championship winning trophy, or at least a race winning trophy, in that latte right now. But this battle just outside of the top 5 with Seth Gadjidoris, Greg Vielle, and James Sharik still going after each other. Vielle looks to the inside of Gadjidoris.
And Vielle gets the spot. So Greg Vielle up to 7th. Seth Gadjidoris back to 8th. James Sharik 9th. Cole Gadjidoris 10th. All those guys, playoff guys, as boy, James Sharik taking a run through the grass.
Trying a different line.
All looks
He's got
well.
Cole Gadjidoris all over him right now.
All certainly looks well. Final lap has begun up at the front. Well, I'll tell you what, this league better be very thankful that Daniel Silvestri came in late, because in 6 starts, he is on pace for his 4th win of the season.
Craziness. You imagine what that point standings would look like, especially after the good run that he had last week at where were we? Pocono? No, Richmond, Rockingham. He had a good run at Rockingham to kick off this thing, but he wasn't, playing for playoff points. He was just running for a race win to play spoiler, looking to do the same thing here tonight. But this is huge point implications for Thomas Aaron and Ryan Truax.
This will be his 6th race that he has run this season for Daniel Silvestri as he heads through the kink now. 6th race he's won. 6th race he's run this season. 4 poles, 4 wins. A lowest finish of 5th. That was last week at Rockingham.
6 top 5s in 6 starts with 4 wins. Everybody grab your guns because there's a new sheriff in town.
Absolutely. As here he comes through the final corner. It's been an eventful day. Started from the pits. After getting the pole, has worked his way up through all of the melees, has kept it on track, and has shown the pace. Daniel Silvestri wins round number 2 of the round of 16 here at Road America in dominating fashion.
And we heard Thomas Aaron say at the end of segment 1 that now Silvestri's back up to him. This is when the racing really starts. And that's what we saw. Silvestri just walked away. As a matter of fact, one of the fastest laps of the event still on the final lap with a 2:15.6 for Silvestri. The only one to go sub 2:17 on that final lap. But Thomas Aaron, Ryan Truax, Mark McCrary, and Ryan Zunk rounding out your top 5.
Still battling here. Greg Vielle, James Sharik has one more shot at him going up the hill. This would be for 7th.
Not close enough.
Nope, he is not. Cole Gadjadoris has had it off. Seth Gadjadoris takes to the grass to get around him. And that's 11th and 12th. That just swapped hands.
Well, that's bragging rights at breakfast tomorrow.
Sure, that's a little bit of an annoyance as well for Cole Gadjadoris because he lost a couple of spots there right at the very end. Is there, if iRacing were cool, there is a straightaway that goes straight to the final corner right there. But unfortunately, you can't go through there, so you have to take the whole lap to get back around.
Unfortunately, iRacing never scanned the short course here.
So there is Daniel Silvestri. Again, 4th race win in 6 starts. Winner on debut at Charlotte the Roval from pole. Winner from pole at Martinsville. 3rd at Vegas. Winner at Homestead. Started 25th in both of those races. Started on pole at Rockingham, finished 5th, and now started on pole here and takes the win. Just an unbelievable showing. And again, the only reason why he's not in the playoffs is because he did not meet the minimum race requirement to be eligible for the playoffs after joining the series so late. And with that, we will now go to the race winner. Tony, you are with Mr. Silvestri.
Daniel Silvestri, 6 starts here in the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. You now have 4 wins on the season, not finishing outside the top 5 in any of your starts. What could have been for a championship this season?
Well, it just kind of, came in here racing for fun. This got a good league going. So unfortunately started kind of late and, also had some weeks that I missed. But I just enjoy coming out and racing, so it's always a good time. And try not to get any of the people that are racing for a title, and I just try to have fun and do well.
Talk us through the strategy that you started the race with, electing to pit start in hopes to stay out of any first lap melees, right?
Well, I thought the grid was about to be 2 minutes, and I went to the bathroom, came back, and it was done. So I missed the start. But obviously that was in my mind too, about someone running through you. So that was kind of run through my head. But unfortunately, started on pit road and just worked my way up through the field.
So you had a top 3 in stage 1, 1 stage 2. Finally had the front row start on that last restart that we had. That was the first time you were the control car all night long. Talk us through what was going through your mind on that restart.
Well, just I knew I had a really good pace and just wanted to get out front and lead laps. Biggest key with this car is just not make any mistakes. Like this car is so hard to turn and it's really hard to stop. So, if you overdo your braking zone, you can either wreck somebody or go off track and then your race is ruined. So my plan was just to make sure I don't overdrive those hairpins and make sure I got the car stopped and get, drive it hard on the sections that were not as risky. So obviously, was able to do that and still had a lot of speed in the car.
Well, from one track where you got to be up on the wheel to turn right and left, we go to the most famed racetrack in North America and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Your thoughts going into the Brickyard next week in the next-gen car?
Well, that's obviously, a very prestigious racetrack, and I'm interested to see how the next-gen cars race there. Obviously, we never saw how they race there in real life, so I'll be interested to see, and I'm excited about it.
Well, it absolutely is. But, again, Daniel, congratulations on a dominating performance here tonight at Road America. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate?
Well, I just got to thank McDonald's for coming on the car and just, everybody that runs ThunderClap. They always do a great job, always, a really fun time. So I always enjoy running there. So all the officials and obviously you guys for putting on the broadcast. We appreciate it. All of us as racers appreciate that.
Well, Dan, again, congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Indy.
Yep, thank you guys.
And Frank, I believe you've got the winner of Stage 1 with you now.
I do. Our second place finisher tonight, Thomas Aaron. And Thomas, you had said after Stage 1 that now that Silvestri's up there, the real racing begins. I will say it is kind of hard to compete with a 1:12.79, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I run the crew chief app, so I get that data told to me, and I ran my fastest lap ever at this track that lap, and it was a 1:14 flat. And then I heard that, I was trying. He's just fast, man. He's just faster. But the thing is, I'm not racing him for the championship, so this is still a win for me.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next point. You may not have come out with the trophy, but you certainly did come away as the highest finishing playoff driver. You were second in points coming into this race. Now, actually, I don't think that was right, was it? Oh no, it was,
yeah.
Oh, you were second.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so you were second in points coming into this race. Now we'll certainly be leading the points. It's got to feel pretty safe going into Indianapolis next week.
Yeah, I think I'm locked in, actually, because I think I was 42 points ahead of 12th. So I get to just go and race and have a good time next weekend. It'll be fun. I love Indy. It's going to be interesting driving the new car there, as it always is. So, yeah, let's have some fun next week.
Absolutely. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
And my brother's watching right now, so I want to give a shout-out to my brother. What up, bro?
Oh, there you go. Thomas Aaron, your second place finisher tonight, did claim a green and white checkered flag as well. Thomas, congratulations.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. And now we head off to third place finisher. Tony is with Ryan Truex now.
Ryan Truex, not the race you were hoping for, but all things considered, you were able to rebound for a podium position. Talk us through that first pace lap. What happened?
Yeah, well, to start, I missed practice and qualifying, which is never good, and didn't have any laps here in a while. So um, luckily, I made it just before the end of qualifying. But yeah, I don't know, if it just got stacked up in front of me, and I tried to stop and lock the brakes up, which I was kind of having issues with my brakes the whole race. So yeah, not really sure what was going on there, but yeah, just playing catch up really from then on. I think the nose damage definitely hurt my car, and I had to basically drive through the field twice. So I think with all that and all the carnage, third place isn't bad.
Not too bad and not too shabby at all. Plus 20, biggest mover of the race. So, Ryan, you missed last week, but next week we go into a track where you've had some decent runs in the past in the real world. We go to the Brickyard, the next gen car at Indy. What are your thoughts going into the cutoff round here in the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. They don't race on that track, and I'm assuming it's the oval. They don't race on that in real life. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I'm not really sure what to expect. That car doesn't seem to like flatter tracks as much as the high banked ones from what I've seen, and definitely makes passing more difficult. And Indy is already known for being tough to pass, so I think strategy will definitely be interesting, and track position is gonna be huge.
Just need a good finish to move yourself into the round of 12. But again, Ryan, congratulations on recovering for a podium here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Who do you need to thank before we let you go?
Thanks to my computer for starting up in about a minute, because I was really close to not making it. So yeah, shout out to my computer for working right for once.
All right, Ryan, again, best of luck to you next week at Indy. Congratulations on the podium here at Road America.
Wasn't quite a record-breaking race for Ryan Truex, but certainly a record-breaking start to the computer for sure for him. Which
thank goodness for SSDs, right?
Yeah, exactly right. But Tony, I'm sure a lot of drivers are going to go with have a little bit of a sigh of relief here, knowing that this is going to be the last road course on the schedule this year. It is the third and final. We ran the Circuit of the Americas in the trucks, the Charlotte Roval in the next gen car, and now here in the Xfinity car. This is a big one for a lot of these guys to be able to get through, try to salvage as many points as they possibly could to head off next week to Indianapolis.
We are at that, and Frank, this track we knew was going to be a tough one coming into tonight. It definitely was for just about everybody except for your top two. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I don't believe there was a mark on either one of those cars when the checkers came out. So, it just goes to show you that the biggest thing in road racing is keep the car clean under you and off of the green stuff.
Absolutely. Bottom four playoff finishers, by the way, will go to Jake Waltman, who finished in 25th, Greg McConey 18th, Robert Walton coming home in 16th, J.D. Woodward coming home in 14th. And those guys are seriously going to be in trouble as we head to Indianapolis next week. So Indianapolis will be the cutoff race for round number 1. Round 2 will be Michigan, the iRacing Super Speedway, which is the next time we will be in the Xfinity car, and Darlington will be the cutoff in the Cup car for the final race in round number 2. Then it will be the Charlotte Oval, Pocono, and the Nashville Super Speedway will be the 3 races in the round of 8 before going to Texas for the championship race on the 5th of October. So 2 more truck races to go, Michigan and Charlotte. 2 more Xfinity races to go, iRacing Super Speedway and Pocono. 4 Cup races still left on the calendar. Indianapolis, Darlington, Nashville Super Speedway, and of course the championship race at Texas still left to go. I wanted to go through the upcoming schedule here before we before we go to the final results here, the Monsters of Speed New Gen Cup Series round number 2 will be held on Friday at Michigan International Speedway. A great race at Daytona, a really exciting finish to open up the season for those guys. Definitely check it out if you have missed. Tony and I just recorded the Super Late Model AI Series race earlier today for the Nashville Fairgrounds, which will premiere this upcoming Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tony, that was a wild finish to that race, and one that you are not going to want to miss. If you haven't checked out the AI Series, it is certainly one to go back and watch.
That is such a fun series to do. From a broadcast standpoint. It's so much fun doing those broadcasts, but it's even more fun going back and watching it afterwards. And just, we didn't know what to expect when we started that series. We expected there to be hard racing, but the fact that the AI, the computers, the servers at iRacing make the way we have that league set up so realistic that the cars are so evenly matched that on any given day any driver can pull off a victory. And it was nothing short of spectacular what you and I just saw earlier this afternoon, and I'm very much looking forward to the premiere of that this coming Saturday evening.
It is one you are not going to want to miss. We know what we wanted to accomplish with that series, and I think we've accomplished that in spades, certainly.
We've gone above and beyond what we could have ever hoped for. But if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss the premiere of that and you don't miss any action here on the Esports Broadcasting Network and Sim Racing Media. We are so happy to be a part of your evening, week in and week out. Thank you so much for joining us.
And also, just to show you how much we have coming up, we still have 4 more races to go in the AI series. We have 2 series still left to come back. We had broken the news earlier in this race that Sim Racer's Edge will be returning to the channel after a season off. We also have the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. They're going to have a season that's going to be starting up soon. That adds to our 122 broadcasts left before this calendar year is up. So within the next couple of days, we're going to have about 150 broadcasts remaining on this calendar year. Coming up, however, on Sunday will be the ISNF Cup Series round number 4. They will be at Richmond, as well as too will be the Sunday Night NASCAR Series, the Federated Auto Parts 200 from Richmond. And we're finding ourselves in the same exact boat we were in last week. If you like racing at Richmond, Sunday and Monday are going to be the 2 days to get it, because Monday will wrap it up with the CleanRacing.net Truck Series round number 7 of their season from Richmond Championship coming to a close in that series as well. But now we will go to that's the points. We'll go to the finishing results here for tonight's race. Daniel Silvestri comes home with the win. Thomas Aaron, the first chase driver to finish here tonight, in second. Ryan Truex third. Mark McCrary, Ryan Zunk coming home in the top 5. Steven Sharik, Greg Vielle, James Sharik, Vince Burns, Chase Leahy rounding out the top 10. Seth and Cole Gedgedoris 11th and 12th. Scott Formosa, J.D. Woodward, and Alan Marshall round out the top 15.
Robert Walton, Tommy Allen Jr., and Greg McConey rounding out your lead lap cars in 16th, 17th, and 18th. Anthony Burleson, just a night he just as soon forget after having a lot of issues tonight. In 19th, Stephen Lachinsky parked it early, coming home in 20th. Tyler Truex and Tyler Chalk, 21st and 22nd. Nikolai Jardin, Jake Waltman, Justin Clapper, and Matt Garrett rounding out the field of 26 here tonight from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Absolutely. And with that, we had the breaking news at the beginning of the race. We also have news that will be coming up, more about the channel as a whole. That will be announced this upcoming Tuesday after the Western States Racing League race. So a big change will be coming here to ESBN on the 16th of August. That is Tuesday night after the Western States Racing League race. I know it's a late race, East Coast time. It's a 10:05 start Eastern. But again, that will be displayed. That big change will be displayed the next time we are here with the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. So for my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you all next week from Indianapolis in the Next Gen car. Good night, everybody.